How are you, Ian?
Rich, I'm doing well. I'm glad you caught me because I sent 3 buddies over to Parsippany to get in the front of the line for the 50 Shades of Grey premiere. It's a midnight showing, and I don't want to miss it.
Well, listen, Ian, that's next-level stuff out of you. And Parsippany is a big 50 Shades of Grey hometown, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I just relate to Dorian Gray on so many levels.
Should we get into those levels or just, move on to Poughkeepsie and things of that nature?
No, probably move on.
Well, Ian, have you seen Irving Bierman at any Nets games lately?
No, I don't think he's going to be making the change over to the Nets. And trust me, the Nets were ready to pounce on this PR nightmare for Madison Square Garden and James Dolan. Look, you know and I know that the way things are set up now, the lines of communication are open more than ever before based on social media, based on email. I just don't know what's to gain if you're the owner of Madison Square Garden to go back and answer one of what I assume is a laundry list of upset fans and patrons over what's going on with the New York Knicks this year. You're just best off deleting and moving on.
But so when you said the Nets were ready to pounce, because I thought when James Dolan invited this this Knicks fan who said he's been a fan of the team for 60 years to go root for the Nets because the Knicks don't want him anymore, I thought that the Nets would basically say, here's 2 courtside seats, and anyone else who are sick and tired of James Dolan and the Knicks, come on over to Brooklyn. They were going to do that, or they did that?
I think they were testing the waters, and then a story came out the very next day when he was asked about the possibility of going and becoming a Nets fan, saying, no, that won't happen. I'm a Knicks fan. I'll always be a Knicks fan. So at that point, you're not going to fight a battle that you can't win, and I think the Nets backed off.
What did you make of Commissioner Silver's response that it's just a New Yorker talking to a New Yorker and there's nothing to see here, move on?
Yeah, Adam is very shrewd. I don't know if you've gotten to know him at all through the years. He's a terrific guy. He's really smart. He's a great listener. His approach during the Donald Sterling issues was textbook on how to handle a crisis and handle it well and deal with it head on. I don't think he looked at this as something more than a 1 or 2 day story and realized by taking it to the next level probably would set a dangerous precedent for owners around the NBA. So in my mind, I think he attempted to diffuse it the best way that he could with a little bit of humor. And the sense is that this story will eventually go away. Something will supplant it.
Well, certainly since, the NBA All-Star Game is coming to New York City with the Saturday night events in Brooklyn and then the game itself in Madison Square Garden on Sunday. I'm on the phone with Brooklyn Nets voice and NFL on CBS play-by-play announcer Ian Eagle. So we have many different ways to go here for the biggest story of the first half of the NBA season. You've got obviously the Atlanta Hawks with all those W's that they strung together. The Golden State Warriors are, in my mind, the most fun team to watch. I just love Steph Curry. I love what the rest of the team does. Steve Kerr had a chance to be James Dolan's coach, said no, and what he's done in Golden State's been remarkable. You've got the Cavs. Pick one out for me, Ian. What do you think the first half NBA story is?
Well, I think Golden State is the lead story just because the smooth transition of Steve Kerr, the right fit with that team, his philosophy, his style as he's trying to really determine what kind of coach he's going to be. When you're in your first year, you're going to play off of what you know already. He played for some great coaches with Phil Jackson, with Greg Popovich, going back to his Arizona days with Lute Olson. This was a ready-made situation, but with that said, you couldn't just put anybody in there. I think Steve's personality has really mixed well, and his experiences have mixed well. I also think the perception was, well, Steve, he's a great guy. I don't know how hard he's going to be on these guys. He is a competitive son of a gun. Yeah. So that's a nice way to put it. And I think he's he's got a little rope-a-dope in him as well, which is a positive thing in that he'll let you believe one thing publicly, privately, this guy wants to win badly. Mark Jackson did a fantastic job of giving this team an identity, injecting them with confidence, convincing them that they could play with the big boys in the Western Conference, and now Kerr has taken it to another level.
Then you've got the Cavs that everyone was focusing on because of LeBron's return, and then you go back and forth as to, well, it's a work in progress, and then you've got the win streak that they just had recently snapped, and then the whole concept of it being a Kevin love-hate relationship going on there. How do you see the Cavs as they currently stand, Iron Eagle?
Yeah, Rich, we all fall victim to this. We form very strong opinions very quickly, and we don't necessarily allow things to evolve. And I think early on people jumped on it with Cleveland. Something's missing. These pieces aren't going to fit together. There's a lack of cohesion. What a lot of people didn't take into account is it takes time to figure out how to play with LeBron, and also for him to figure out exactly where he fits in, how much he has to put his foot on the gas pedal. Guys that were not used to winning consistently in the NBA, learning how to do that on a day-in and day-out basis where there's an X on your back, not just from an individual standpoint, which has been the case for Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, but from a team standpoint. No longer are your individual numbers the things that are being scrutinized. It's how many wins you have at the end of the year and what you do in the playoffs. This team's really dangerous. I think they did an excellent job addressing their needs. When Varejao went down, that was a huge void for them. To go out and get Timofey Mozgov, who has fit in well. They gave up 2 first-round picks to get him, but clearly they knew they had a need there. And they picked up some damaged goods along the way. J.R. Smith didn't fit with New York because the culture wasn't set up for him to excel. It is set up for him to excel in Cleveland. The checks and balances are in place. He doesn't want to let down LeBron. He doesn't want to let down his teammates. So they've found the right mix. I think this team is on the rise, and they're going to be scary. There's no doubt in my mind they'll be scary come playoff time.
I'm on the phone with Iron Eagle, NFL on CBS play-by-play announcer, along with Dan Fouts, joining me here in the capacity of being the Brooklyn Nets voice on the precipice, the cusp of an NBA All-Star game being played in Madison Square Garden for the first time since 1998. Last time it was there, Ian, the talk was about this young up-and-comer Kobe Bryant waving Karl Malone off the blocks to isolate himself in an NBA All-Star game, and everyone's just like, how big of an ego does this kid have? And now here we are in 2015, and we're all wondering how Kobe's endgame is going to finish up with Magic calling out Jim Buss, Jerry's son, who he's left the franchise, the franchise in his hands. What do you make of all that's going on with the Lakers, who are just a notch above the Knicks right about now?
Yeah, it's ugly. It really is. And I think there was a time in this league where you felt the core teams in big markets will always be fine because somebody will want to play there. The Lakers, the Knicks, the Chicago Bulls, teams of that nature. Those days are done. They're done in the NBA because twofold. One, maximum money is maximum money. Kevin Durant can make maximum money, and Oklahoma City can spend his entire career there. Two, you don't have to be in one of those big cities to be considered a big star because of social media, because of national television, the cable deals that are in place. You're not going to live in anonymity anymore. So these teams that used to be able to lean on the fact that they played in big markets, it meant you could make a lot of money off the court. Those days are done. You've got to do it the grassroots way. You've got to do it from the bottom up. And for Mitch Kupchak, this is going to be a big challenge. They don't have a lot there. There's not a lot to work with. And with Kobe Bryant making as much money as he's making, with Kobe Bryant's reputation as well on the downside of his career, this is not a case where people want to be a part of the farewell tour either. Guys want to win. They want to win right away. When you have options as a free agent, you want to win. You want to pair up with someone else you can win with. And the Lakers are facing a very sobering reality right now that they're in the same boat that other teams have been in for a number of years that are trying to get out of the basement. It's not that easy. It's hard. You've got to draft well, and then you've got to be efficient in your free agent signings. They have done neither in recent years. So
what do you think is going to be more of an exciting watch for you this weekend, Ian? Mason Plumlee in the slam dunk contest or that Parsippany feature of 50 Shades of Grey? Ian, give me that one.
Rich, I will tell you right now that Mason is not a favorite in that competition. I know you love this guy. He is the dream for any player of Wheel of Fortune. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is the guy, the Greek freak.
Yes.
To me, he's the overwhelming favorite. I just like saying it. Let's face it.
Say that one more time because I wouldn't attempt it. There's nothing like that in the NFL for you to try.
Chris Mafua-Matu-Ma'afala was the last guy, as we know.
Nice.
Or Michael Ho'omanawanui is the new guy.
Yes.
I spend hours in front of the mirror, Rich, doing this. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo. It's like the old electric company.
Well, that would be, one would say Atento, and the other one would say Kumpo, and then you put it together, and it would be Atentakumpo. I think I nailed it, right?
You nailed it.
All right.
Tremendous.
I know my Greek future slam dunk champions like nobody else. Thanks for calling in, Ian. I look forward to the next time.
I hope so, Rich. I look forward to it, too. Have a great weekend.
You bet. That's Ian Eagle, the voice of the Brooklyn Nets.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.